30 minutes ago, the rumors were nothing more than digital whispers, flickering threads on X and deleted TikTok theories that felt too good to be true. But then the Netflix landing page updated. Titled simply The Secret Project, the placeholder has left ARMY spiraling. Why now? And why in such total secrecy? Insiders suggest this isn't your typical concert film or travel docuseries. We're talking about high-production cinematography, cryptic teasers involving midnight shoots in Seoul, and a narrative style that Netflix has never attempted with K-pop icons before. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. This is still our shared opinion and analysis, so feel free to leave your positive comments here. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. Purple Heart. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moment. Welcome to V Effect. What if I told you that Netflix is about to drop something so unexpected, so powerful that ARMY worldwide won't be able to stay calm? Rumors are exploding, insiders are hinting, and the timing is just too perfect. Taekook and Netflix in the same sentence. That alone is enough to send the entire fandom into meltdown mode. But this isn't just another random speculation. There are signs, subtle clues, and moments that suddenly make everything connect. The real question is, what exactly are they planning? A documentary, a surprise appearance, or something even bigger that no one saw coming? Stay with me because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you see this entire situation. The silence is what makes it terrifying. Because when something truly massive is coming, it doesn't scream first. It whispers. For weeks, the fandom has felt it. That strange shift in the air. Subtle movements, unexpected glances, conversations that cut off too quickly. The kind of energy that doesn't explode publicly, but builds quietly behind closed doors. And then Netflix enters the picture. Not in a loud headline-grabbing way. Not with flashing banners or official posters, but in fragments. Industry murmurs. Production teams suddenly following certain names. Private meetings that weren't supposed to mean anything until they did. At first, people dismissed it. Coincidence. Overthinking. Delusion. But ARMY has learned something over the years. Patterns don't lie. Taehyung has been moving differently. Selective. Intentional. Calm, almost too calm. There's a confidence in his recent appearances that feels like someone who knows something the world doesn't. And Jungkook, he's been quieter but sharper, focused, watching, not distant, aligned. And that alignment is what's setting the internet on fire. Because if this is a Netflix project, not just a cameo, not just a documentary clip, but something centered around them, something controlled, curated, and deeply personal, it changes everything. Think about it. Netflix doesn't just produce content. It builds narratives. Global narratives. The kind that transcend fandom and enter mainstream consciousness. The kind that reshapes perception. Now imagine stepping into that arena together. The implications are massive. This wouldn't just be content. It would be positioning, visibility, a statement without ever having to say a word. And that's where the tension begins, because not everyone is ready for that level of exposure. There has always been a line, a careful strategic line between what is shown and what is protected. Moments caught on camera. Inside jokes, glances that last a second too long. Enough to spark speculation. Never enough to confirm anything. But Netflix doesn't operate in half measures. If they're involved, the scale is different. The stakes are higher. The audience is global beyond the fandom bubble. Which raises the most dangerous question of all. What are they willing to show? Some insiders claim the project focuses on creative evolution. Others hint at something more personal. A journey, a transformation, a dynamic that has grown under pressure. And pressure is the right word. The last few years haven't been simple. Individual paths, solo release, public scrutiny, dissecting every interaction, every award show moment, every missed eye contact. Every interaction amplified, slowed down, analyzed. It takes strength to survive that kind of microscope. And it takes something stronger to step willingly back into it together. There's a reason this potential move feels controversial, because visibility creates conversation. Conversation creates headlines, and headlines create division. Some will celebrate it as long overdue recognition. Others will question motives, timing, authenticity. And through all of that noise, one reality remains. If Taekook are choosing to align publicly under platform like Netflix, they're not doing it impulsively. They're doing it strategically. And strategy means intention. There's also the emotional weight. The unspoken history fans believe they've witnessed. From trainees to global icons, shared stages, shared struggles, growth that unfolded side by side. If even a fraction of that story is told in a raw, unfiltered format, it won't just be entertaining. It will be explosive. Because vulnerability at that level can't be undone. Once the world sees something, it can't be unseen. And maybe that's the real reason the atmosphere feels so charged. This isn't about a cameo. It's about narrative control. For years, others have shaped the storyline. Media outlets, commentators, viral clips stripped of context. But a Netflix project would flip that power dynamic. It would allow them to frame their own journey, their own words, their own truth, whatever that truth may be. And that possibility is what has ARMY holding its breath. Because if this is real, if the whispers solidify into confirmation, it won't just be another release on a streaming platform. It will be a moment, a cultural reset, a shift in how their bond is perceived globally. But here's the twist no one is talking about. There's still one piece missing. One final signal that hasn't appeared yet. No teaser. No cryptic post. No official alignment. And that absence feels deliberate, as if something is being timed perfectly. Because when this drops, if it drops, it won't be random. It will be calculated. And when it happens, the reaction won't just be jaw-wide. It will be shock. So the real question isn't whether Taekook are stepping into Netflix. The real question is, what are they about to reveal that required a platform that powerful in the first place? And why does it feel like once this chapter begins, nothing will ever feel the same again? And this is where everything becomes dangerously quiet. Because when powerful people prepare to move, they don't announce it, they position it. Behind the scenes, something feels orchestrated. Not chaotic. Not accidental. Orchestrated. The kind of preparation that takes months, maybe longer. Carefully edited footage, controlled environments, conversations recorded but never leaked. Smiles that look casual yet feel rehearsed in their restraint. If this is a Netflix-scale project, it would require trust at the highest level. Access to personal archives, unreleased clips, backstage footage the public has never seen. The kind of material that lives in vaults, not on timelines. And that's what makes this different from any rumor before. Because this isn't about speculation anymore. It's about access. Ask yourself this: why now? Timing in this industry is never random. Every release aligns with the broader strategy. Solo growth has already reshaped public perception. Individual identities have been firmly established. Careers have expanded beyond group dynamics, which makes a joint narrative far more powerful. When two global figures step back into a shared spotlight after proving their individual strength, it doesn't look dependent. It looks intentional. And intention changes the story. There's also the emotional undercurrent no one wants to say out loud. Fans have watched them evolve from teenagers into men under relentless scrutiny. They've endured rumors, distance, silence, reunion stages, subtle gestures that sparked global debates. But growth creates gravity, and gravity pulls things together or pushes them apart. If a Netflix project centers on creative collaboration, it could be a celebration. If it focuses on personal journeys intersecting again, it could be intimate. If it explores pressure, separation, and reconnection, it could be deeply human. And humanity is what hits hardest because polished performances are safe. Raw conversations are not. Imagine a scene where they sit across from each other without choreography. No script. No stage lights. Just honesty. The kind of dialogue that doesn't trend because it's flashy, but because it feels real. That would break the internet in a different way. Not loud. Heavy. There's also a strategic layer few are discussing. Netflix thrives on global storytelling. When they invest in artists, they aim beyond fandom. They aim for cultural impact. That means subtitling in dozens of languages, global promotion cycles, interviews designed to shape public narrative. If Taekook are entering that arena together, they're not just speaking to ARMY, they're speaking to the world. And the world watches differently. The world doesn't analyze micro-expressions frame by frame. It absorbs overarching narratives. It decides quickly. It categorizes quickly, which means whatever story is told must be precise. Too vague and it fuels more speculation. Too direct and it becomes headline warfare. That balance requires maturity, and both of them have changed. Taehyung carries himself with a calm intensity now. Measured, observant, deliberate. Jungkook radiates focus, grounded, sharper, less reactive. Put those two energies in one controlled cinematic project, and the result wouldn't be chaotic. It would be powerful. But here's the tension that keeps building. There are signs of something being filmed. Subtle schedule adjustments, restricted sets, creative teams known for documentary-style storytelling, suddenly connected to familiar circles. Not confirmed, not denied, just present. And silence from official channels is louder than denial, because denial would kill momentum. Silence builds it. Some fans believe it could be a limited series exploring artistry. Others think it might document the transition into a new era. A few whisper that it's something far more personal, something that reframes years of speculation without directly addressing it. And that possibility is what makes this moment feel electric. Because reframing is stronger than confirming. You don't have to state something explicitly to shift public understanding. You just have to present it differently. A shared studio process, a candid reflection about trust, a discussion about navigating pressure side by side. The implications would speak louder than any headline. And maybe that's the real strategy. Not to shock, but to reposition. Still, there's a risk. With visibility comes vulnerability. With vulnerability comes interpretation. And interpretation online spreads faster than truth. They know that, which means if this project exists, they've accepted the storm that will follow. So why take that risk? That question lingers heavier than any rumor. Why step into a global spotlight together now? What has changed behind the curtain that makes this moment feel safe enough or necessary enough to share? Because moves like this aren't emotional impulses. They're calculated chapters. And every chapter serves a purpose. The fandom senses it. That collective intuition hasn't faded. There's anticipation, yes, but also tension. As if everyone is waiting for a single confirmation to unlock weeks of suppressed excitement. But until that confirmation arrives, everything remains suspended, balanced between possibility and reality. And here's what makes it even more intriguing. No major leaks. No accidental spoilers. No blurry set photos for something allegedly this big. The containment has been almost flawless, which suggests one of two things. Either nothing is happening at all, or everything is being protected at the highest level. And protection of that scale only happens when the reveal matters. So fans wait for a teaser, for a single frame, for a logo pairing that no one expected to see. Because once that image appears, once Netflix and Taekook exist side by side officially, the conversation won't just trend. It will transform. Until then, the silence remains. And sometimes silence is the loudest confirmation of all. The longer the silence stretches, the more intentional it feels. Because in an industry where leaks are currency and spoilers are inevitable, absolute quiet is not an accident. It's discipline. It's containment. It's a locked door with something valuable behind it. And if there's one thing both of them understand now, it's the value of timing. They've lived through eras where every movement was dissected. A shared glance became a headline. A missed interaction became a theory. A single sentence during a live stream spiraled into global debate. They learned quickly that visibility without control is dangerous. So what if this time they're choosing control? Imagine a project that doesn't feed rumors but reshapes them. Not addressing speculation directly, but subtly redefining the narrative, showing creative partnership, showing respect, showing growth. Letting the audience draw conclusions instead of forcing statements. That approach would be smarter than any denial, because denial fuels curiosity. But confident storytelling redirects it. If Netflix is involved, production quality won't just be high. It will be cinematic. Slow burn interviews, intimate rehearsal footage, studio sessions lit softly, capturing the unguarded seconds between conversations. Not chaos, not fan service, just presence. And presence is powerful. The question isn't whether they can handle that spotlight, it's whether the world can. There's a difference between fantasy and documentation, between what fans imagine and what artists choose to show. If this project exists, it won't be chaotic energy or exaggerated moments. It will be controlled vulnerability. And controlled vulnerability is disarming. Picture them discussing the pressure of growing up under constant surveillance. The difficulty of maintaining identity while representing something larger than themselves. The silent weight of expectations from fans, from media, from the industry. Now picture them acknowledging how their dynamic evolved within that pressure. Not romantically framed, not dramatically framed, just honestly framed. That would be enough because honesty hits harder than spectacle. There's also another layer no one is openly discussing: legacy. They are no longer rookies. They are not fighting for relevance. They have already cemented their place in global music history, which means any collaborative move now isn't about chasing attention. It's about defining how they will be remembered. A Netflix-scale project becomes archival, streamed across countries that may not even know the full history. It introduces context to audiences who never followed the journey in real time. That kind of documentation freezes a narrative in place. And once something is frozen on a global platform, it becomes part of cultural memory. So if they are stepping into that format together, it means they are ready for a chapter to be preserved. But preserved as what? As collaborators. As lifelong creative partners. As two artists reflecting on parallel paths that constantly intersected. The ambiguity is strategic because clarity isn't always the goal. Sometimes impact is. The tension also lies in how quiet their recent interactions have been publicly. Fewer spontaneous moments, fewer unscripted appearances together. Not distance, just restraint. Restraint often signals preparation. When something significant is ahead, spontaneity decreases. Energy is conserved. Focus sharpens. And both of them look focused. Not distracted, not reactive, focused. That focus feels like people who know the next step. And here's something else that stands out. Neither of them has rushed to shut down the whispers. No indirect jokes. No dismissive comments, just neutral silence. Neutral silence can be more powerful than confirmation because it leaves space. Space for curiosity, space for anticipation, space for impact. If nothing were happening, it would be easy to casually deflect. A quick laugh, a vague comment, a distraction, but there's been none of that. Instead, there's composure, which makes this feel less like chaos and more like countdown. And countdowns don't last forever. At some point, a platform that big would begin its promotional rhythm. Teasers, abstract visuals, a cryptic soundtrack clip. A title reveal that feels ordinary at first glance until you read between the lines.